how has the hybrid plug-in system does affected your daily habits?
These are really good. They have what you call adaptive headlighting. If you get close to a car in front, it will automatically slow down. So that shows you the fuel consumption.
Okay.
And that's the average, it's saying 44.1.
Hi guys, I'm Andrew and today I have something truly special for you. It's a Mercedes 300 hybrid 2022 with 3.0 liter engine, 22,000 miles on its odometer. And today the car owner John will share his experience as owning this car. So hi John.
Hi Andrew.
I wanted to ask why Mercedes? Because previously we discussed with you that all your previous car was BMWs or Jaguar, so why Mercedes?
Yeah, so I think at the time we were looking to get the car, I had a coupe Jaguar which wasn't practical anymore, so part of the reason for looking at the Mercedes was practicality. My wife and I wanted something that we could move the kids around in, but also had some space in the boot so you can go on long trips with it. So we decided on an SUV, and we were looking at a number of models at the time. I think what took us towards Mercedes was, at the time there was a lot of incentives by the UK government to purchase a hybrid or electric vehicle. So they would subsidise fitting of the charging terminal at your home. So that kind of limited us to a few models and providers. I'd always known about Mercedes, very good reputation, and this model in particular had a really good reputation. What we both liked about it was its size. It's quite big, but actually when we test drove it, it was quite compact and didn't feel too big to drive. And obviously the hybrid element with it as well, which at the time was quite unique in the market. So that's ultimately what led us to Mercedes.
Yeah, cool. But so what led you to choose, particularly this model? Because on the market there are also like other SUVs with electronic, Yeah. Why this particular model?
Yeah. So when we test drove it.
Sorry. And what was the choice between? So it was like this GLC or what was else?
Yeah, so we looked at a number of models, Andrew. We looked at initially we looked at the Volvo, the small compact SUV, the XC40. We also looked at other ends of the market, like a small Porsche Macan. But when we drove this one, it just felt better to drive than the other two. I really liked the Porsche Macan, but my wife said it was too powerful. She didn't really like it. It was too powerful. Whereas this was a good kind of compromise in between. And in terms of the hybrid element of it, it seemed pretty straightforward at the time, the way things were explained to us. It was a really good drive when we drove it. We really liked the look of the car as well. It looked good. And I suppose most importantly, when we test drove it, we took our daughters with us, and they found it really comfortable. So we tend to do long journeys, and my oldest girl tends to get sick. She was fine in this. So that ultimately swung it for us.
Also, John, I would like to ask, in general, how do you usually use your car? Does it short trips or long trips? For example, if it is short trip, does it suitable to park because consider that in Britain there is limited spaces to park in, and also how do you feel like in the narrow roads?
So most of our journeys either tend to be short round town trips or on the motorway. I think it's really good when we do sort of short trips. I don't have a problem with parking. It's quite a big car though, and you're quite right, you do notice in some places it feels quite narrow when you're parking, but actually moving around town it's not too bad. I think you do notice a bit of a difference in fuel consumption when you're driving in town. On the motorway I think it's fantastic. It's really comfortable, quite good in terms of sort of mileage, sort of fuel consumption, but really comfortable. And it has sort of gadgets which we'll come on to, which kind of help the drive as well, so pretty good.
And if we are talking about the comfortability, for example, if it is long trip. How do you feel as a driver about your neck, back? What can you say? And also, how feel the passengers? Maybe so the feedback.
I quite like driving it on long trips, Andrew. I think the seats have so many settings, so you get good lumbar support, neck support, and I've kind of set it to my own setting, so I'm quite comfortable with it. I do notice that passengers who sit in the rear of the car sometimes tend to struggle because you can't adapt those seats, so they're fixed. But other than that, there's the sort of climate control, air conditioning. It makes it really comfortable to drive, and you have various settings in the car, so you can set it to comfort setting. So the suspension is comfortable, and you don't get the bumps, so quite good.
Next question, you mentioned fuel consumption, so can you say about numbers?
The best that I've got out of it combined, when I run it in a mode called Eco, which it flits between petrol and electric, I think the best I've got out of it is about 32 miles to the gallon, which is, but that's quite rare, if I'm being honest, Andrew. When I use it, if I was to use the car to do sort of daily trips around town in petrol, it's very low. It's sort of 16 miles to the gallon, and on the motorway it's much more economical. But yeah, about 32 is the best that I've got out of it in terms of.
My next question, how has the hybrid plug-in system does affected your daily habits?
Yeah, so quite a lot actually. I tend to have it mostly in electric when I drive. When we're driving daily, it tends to be around town or in the local area, and it's just fantastic to keep it in electric to do that. So the bulk of our time, the car's in electric mode.
Oh, so usually in the city mode you use an electric
mode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So then I should ask, where is the charging port here?
Yeah, charging port at the back here.
Okay.
And you just plug it in there.
And how long does it take you to fully charge your car?
To fully charge it, it takes about 2 hours.
2 hours?
For a full charge, and that will then give you about somewhere between 20 and 30 miles, and that's one of my things. Is it's not consistent. Sometimes you can charge it for 2 hours and you'll get 20 miles. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can charge it and you'll get 30 miles. So it's a bit inconsistent.
But I think for one day, if it's like you just need to go to your job, it's pretty enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. It is good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had no issues with it. I've actually found that it's just easier to drive it around town in electric, really. And obviously that then changes your sort of habits around putting petrol in the car. I only put petrol in it once a month. In previous cars it was a lot more. So
yeah, but I'm also wondering, so how much liters do you fill in per month? I mean petrol.
Oh,
roughly.
Roughly, I think it's about 50. If I think roughly, yeah. I know that it's about, to fill the tank up, is about £60. Okay. I think that gives you roughly 50 litres, if I think correctly. Not sure though. Yeah.
One more thing. Have you noticed any moments with this car that only an owner could know? So would it be advantages or disadvantages?
Yeah.
Please share.
Okay. So I like a lot of the features on the car, Andrew, in the sense that it comes with what you might consider standard gadgets, but for example, on this one, it's got a really comprehensive parking support gadget, which is really useful because parking is not my strong point, so so it really helps me there. And also,
you mean this 36 surrounding
360 degree?
360,
yeah, absolutely that.
Mm-hmm.
And it will tell you, like, if you're parking in this bay, it will just basically give you a green sort of lines that when you're right, red when you're not. So it's really useful in terms of parking and that sort of stuff. I also like the fact that you can switch sort of driving styles on the car. So you can go from electric to eco to sport to comfort, because I actually like to feel like I'm driving the car. So I tend to have it in either comfort or sport and actually feel like I'm driving the car, which is really good. One of the things that I find a bit frustrating in terms of the car is it comes with loads of safety features, which I completely understand and you need them, but they can get quite frustrating at times. And I think there's two that really bother me at times is if you get close to a car in front, it will automatically slow down, which can, again, I understand it, but it's a bit frustrating. And then if you're liable to drift into a lane, it will do the same thing. It will beep, it will warn you, and it will slow you down. So whilst they're good features, when you just want to drive the car, it's a bit of a disadvantage, I think.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I have read about this, and some people saying so this safety system like it reads your mind, you know, but you say the truth.
Yeah.
And question according to that, and when the car is trying to stop, what about the back cars? Does it does the system consider your who is in the back?
I think it does. So basically, what it will do is it will basically mimic as if you were braking. So your lights will come on as they normally would, which is quite smart, really, if you think about it. So you're also warning the car behind you as well.
John, what's your experience with the vehicle performance, especially with this petrol engine combined with hybrid? So,
yeah, it's pretty good. What I like about this one is you can set it into different modes. So you can have it in only electric, you can have it in then comfort, economical, or sport. So I quite like to drive it in sport, which is where you get pretty good acceleration. It feels quite sporty when you're driving it, and it goes quite quickly. So that's really good. When it's in electric, it's really smooth. You don't tend to actually feel like you're driving the car.
So it does it only electric mode?
So you can have it for up to 30 miles. You can just drive it electric.
Okay.
And that's pretty good. It's very, very smooth. So interesting, when you have passengers in the car, they like it most when it's an electric because you don't hear the engine and it's more comfortable. But when you're in sport mode, it does give you that kind of acceleration and you feel like you're driving more of a coupe type car, which I really, really like. And comfort's fantastic as well. Comfort, you feel like you're in a sort of a sedan or a long wheelbase car, and it's very, very comfortable. But it's quite good from a performance perspective as well.
Okay, and this model is also it's 4MATIC, yeah. Can you share any experience that you have about this full drive?
Yeah, so I tend to drive it mainly. It's been on road, and we've covered all sorts of weather. Funnily enough, we haven't driven in snow yet, but I have had a chance to test the four-wheel drive. We were at a function maybe a year ago, and there was off-road parking. It had been quite wet the day before, and loads of cars are struggling when we're trying to leave. But actually, this was fine, no problem. Got out with ease. So that's the one time I've probably needed the four-wheel drive, and it worked. So can't complain.
John, are you happy with these LED lights and how does they illuminate in the night? Could you share the experience?
Sure. Yeah, I'm really happy. I do tend to do quite a lot of night driving, so I need the vision on the road. These are really, really good. They have what you call adaptive headlighting. So at night, if you're on a clear stretch of road and there's no cars, it'll be really, really bright. Whereas if you have cars in front of you, then it'll adapt so it's not as bright. And also you can set it so that you have full beam on automatically if you're in a really dark area that's not well lit. So I think that's really, really good on this car.
And now we are sitting in the cabin. You can see this perfect roof and this black color cabin. I really prefer the black color. What about you?
Yeah, I like the black cabin. It kind of gives you a bit more of an intimate feel, which I quite like.
Yeah, and John, what can you say about the multimedia system? Because I've heard that Mercedes has like pretty good system in these years and cars. I mean, so how convenient is it? Do you use the built-in navigation? Do you prefer or do you prefer using smartphone navigation?
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's got a lot of things in the car, Andrew. I tend to use. It has all the navigation system. The car came with it. I tend to use smartphone navigation myself, just because I find that you get a more real time than you would with using the built-in navigation. So that's the only reason I use that. I tend to have the radio on, but it does come with Bluetooth. My wife and sometimes the kids, they connect to Bluetooth, and the sound system's really good. And then it comes with other features, just for more sort of like comfort settings. Sort of, you can set the lighting, so you have some sort of interior, almost like mood lighting in the car, which is quite cool. So there's lots to play with, but I only really use Bluetooth, sometimes navigation, and the lighting.
Okay. But I assume that you have an experience with using Bluetooth for long trips and so on.
Yep.
So what can you say? Does Bluetooth system works correctly? I mean, does it ever disconnect on its own, something like that?
I've not had any issues with the Bluetooth system in this car. It's really good. I do connect my car, my phone when I'm on a long journey, in case I need to take calls. It never disconnects. And I don't think my wife has had that issue either. It stays connected, and it will automatically connect. It recognises your device when you get into the car, and then you can control it all through this central screen. So really user friendly system.
And how about the climate control? So is it truly automatic, or do you find yourself every time adjusting it? What's your habits?
Yeah, so the automatic's pretty good on the car, Andrew, but I tend to use manual and set it manually myself at different points in the journey or in different weather. I'll set it, so I tend to use more manual than auto.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting and looking at this interior, pretty luxury interior, soft touch materials and leather and so on. The question is, what do you usually enjoy like driving in your car? Well, while you're driving and sitting inside this perfect cabin.
I like the way that we've got it done. So I like the black cabin, and then the contrast of the tan seats. But it's just a very comfortable car, Andrew, to drive when you're sitting in it. And you can change things and set things to your sort of accordance, like the lighting. You can set the seats up a certain way. You can even set your driving style so that you're in a comfort mode. So I really enjoy that. When I was younger, I used to like much more sporty kind of feel. Now it's much more about comfort, and this car is fantastic in that way.
John, could you please show how the roof opens?
Yeah.
So John, could you please show what do we have inside this infotainment system?
Yeah, sure. So you've got the media, so you can just click in there, and it will sort of take you to connect to whatever you want to connect to. I tend to have it on radio, and I just press that here, so down here, so you can see the radio there. And then if we go back, you can set your lighting. You click in there, you can choose different colours, so all those different colours you can choose. And then what happens is, when it's darker, you'll see it kind of come on under the door panel here, sort of under the dash bit here as well, and that will come on.
I think the lighting is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we are recording in the daylight, so we can't see it.
And then there's just various things, like you go into here, it will tell you about your sort of some of the vehicle stats that you have, how you've consumed energy, and it will tell you all those sorts of things. And that's gone up, so that shows you the fuel consumption.
Okay.
And that's the average, it's saying 44.1.
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
And what about the Sport, Classic and Progressive?
Classic is that one.
Yeah.
And Progressive is that one.
Oh yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, so it's just different things that you like in terms of your own personal style. I tend to have it on Classic. And so then you can control this screen from the wheel here. So that controls parts of that screen, this bit here. Or you've got the home pad down here where it controls it as well, so you can see it all. When you're driving, if you don't want to touch the screen, it will just flick across. And you use that. So it's fairly straightforward, really. Not easy. I mean, I struggle with technology, and when we got the car, once we had it explained, the gentleman sat with us for about 10 minutes, explained what we needed to do, and that was it. So it was really user friendly and easy to follow, which is really good for me. So no complaints on that.
Also, I would like to ask about hybrid, to summarize in general. So do you like it, or petrol would be much better?
I do. I like the concept of hybrid, Andrew. I have to say though, I find the plug-in bit quite difficult. It's hassle. There are other sort of models out there that have self-charging hybrids. I'd definitely look at those in the future. Probably wouldn't go for a plug-in one again.
Yeah, how do you think, there are a lot of Tesla drivers, but Tesla is because like icon, of electric car.
Yeah.
And it's only electric, and I've heard different opinions, so that also related to yours, that it is too hard to charge it every time and so on and so on, but probably the pluses are much bigger. So, but you shared that your opinion is other way.
Yeah, my opinion would be the other way. I don't necessarily see all the benefits with electric or hybrid. Certainly in terms of having the system fitted in your house, so you can charge it, the portal, plugging it in. It's very temperamental, so sometimes it just won't work and there's no explanation for it. So then I have to go in and I have to sort of reset it. It's things like that which actually take away from, it's supposed to be convenient. Sometimes when you have those sorts of issues, it's not. And so if I was to go again, I would go for a self-charging hybrid.
Have you faced any issues or recalls, and how does Mercedes handle them?
We haven't had any actual issues with the car per se, but the agreement that I have covers my tyres, and we had an issue with this tyre. So we just phoned up Mercedes, they came, they collected the car, they gave us a courtesy car while they took it in, sorted it all out. So really easy, really convenient. Didn't have to do much. So I'm really positive in terms of the experience with Mercedes.
Okay, and when it happened, does Mercedes came fast, or it was like planned booking time?
So yeah, it was a planned booking, working around our sort of convenience and what worked for us. So we just spoke to the sales rep. They told us a day and time that was convenient. Came, collected the car. I was pretty impressed. Yeah.
Okay. Also, by the way, what the radius of these wheels?
They're quite big ones, so they're 20-inch.
20-inch?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you know the price maybe for replacement for them?
So when this tyre went, I was looking and getting quotes for tyres, and it was around about the 200 mark, £225 for one tyre. So yeah, quite expensive.
Quite expensive, really, yeah. For one time. To summarize, John, looking back, would you make the same purchase decision today?
Do you know, I would definitely go for Mercedes again. I think it's a great car, or a great brand of car. I'm not sure I'd go for a hybrid in this way again. Like I said before, I think if there's a model that you get self-charging hybrid, then definitely. But I've been really impressed with Mercedes as a car and as a brand. It's fantastic. It's just that little bit about plug-in hybrid that I'm not so keen on.
Cool.
Okay.
John, thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you for agreeing to participate in video. Yeah. And guys, please write comments, put likes, and see you. Bye.
Thanks ever so much. Thank you.
John, can you say top 3 features of that car, for your opinion?
For my opinion, yeah, great. I think number 1 for me would be the driving experience. So you can switch between different driving styles. And I think it's fantastic when you have the car in sport and you actually feel like you're driving the car. That's brilliant. I think the second one for me would be for me personally, the 360-degree parking. I think that's really helpful to me. And third, even though I'm not a great fan of it, I think driving in electric mode, I tend to do a lot of round town driving, and when I do that, it's good. It's great in electric. So that would probably be the third feature.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.